Disasters. Disasters is the best way I can describe so much of the fantasy football landscape right now. And we've got to navigate it. No one can make excuses. It's adjust and adapt season. I'm here for you. The chat is here for you. The phone call segment is always here for you. But Jonathan Taylor, there's talk right now that IR out at minimum of 4 games isn't even off the table. We'll break that down. What does Zach Moss mean to you? How valuable is Zach Moss? He moves to number 1 on the waiver wire if your waivers have not processed yet. JJ coming back after the week 13 bye week. Kenneth Walker. Do you run from Kenneth Walker? Do you sell him the first chance you get? And Devon Achane's back. Are you scared of Devon Achane? The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
We've got a lot to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, and it all evolves around potential high-risk players, disaster-type situations, even if we believe in some of these names on screen. And Cooper Kupp's on here, too. I just haven't brought him up yet on screen because I couldn't fit it. There was no way to fit everybody on this screen. All the disasters in Panic Chamber, and essentially this is a Panic Chamber episode, couldn't fit on screen. Devon Achane, I believe in him. Most of you do, but he's still an absolute person you need to run toward, not from. Devon Achane, it's a bigger risky situation to run away from him than to run toward him. It's a riskier proposition to sell him now versus take him in under your wing and head toward the championship. This guy has the ability to win you a championship single-handedly. Devon Achane can be a top 2 to 5 running back going forward. Now, maybe he's not. Maybe he is injury prone. Maybe he can't stay on the field. Maybe Miami Mike holds him back all year. Those are possibilities. Those are risk. There is risk involved in this. But again, I believe the risk is heavier on the side of doubting him than buying in. So we'll get into that in just a minute. Devon Achane, it's not Devon Achane somersault. It's Devon Achane. He's already made that abundantly clear. Go rewatch the film. Go rewatch the tape on how to pronounce his name, somersault. Nice try. Nice try. As we head into the rest of the show, let's start off with a couple negatives. Jonathan Taylor. This is a new report from Stephen Holder saying that, as it turns out, he has a thumb injury, as per Rap Sheet and all the rest of the boys reporting on this, and Diana Rossini, who retweeted a report earlier. I'll show you that. There's no decision yet on injured reserve. Injured reserve is on the table still, according to this report right here in this tweet. I'm not saying he goes on injured reserve, but injured reserve is on the table. So everybody coming in here and saying, "Oh, Smitty, you're blowing this out of proportion." We had 2 absolute ridiculous Richards come into the live stream earlier while I was breaking this live. I actually broke this live. As soon as the tweet was coming in, I had already hit the live button. I was going to report on the JT news because there was general news about him having an injury. And as I hit live, the Adam Schefter tweet came in, and we reported it immediately. Once Diana Rossini, I believe this is the tweet that came in immediately, talking about the Jonathan Taylor will undergo thumb surgery tomorrow. Here's another screenshot of it. And he'll be out 2 to 3 weeks. So 2 to 3 weeks. He's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. But IR is not off the table. And if it comes down to it, I think they're going to be safer versus risking everything in their investment they just paid top dollar for. Why are they going to risk it? They're going to play it safe. 2 to 3 weeks seems like they're pushing it, trying to get him back for what? Now, if let's say in that 3-week time frame, let's not joke ourselves. It's not 2 to 3 weeks. Let's call it the 3 weeks. Let's say it's 3 weeks. This 2 to 3 weeks is just optimistic Oscar stuff. If we call it 3 weeks and they lose 2 out of the next 3 games without JT, then why would they bring him back at all? Why would they bring back their investment they just plugged a ton of money into to rush him back for what? Now, if the Colts somehow, some way stay in the playoff race, the wild card hunt, then it's a whole different ball game. It's actually something that we're going to be talking about in tremendous detail. Let me see if I can find the I screenshotted here it is. Here's the division. They have no hope of winning the division. Jaguars are 8-3. I mean, you never know, but in full command. So it really comes down to a wild card spot that's going to be very hard to get if they lose even one of the next 3 games. So if they lose 2 of the next 3 games, let's say the Colts do, I don't know why they would bring them back. And I know a lot of people are saying, Smitty, you're blowing this out of proportion. I'm not blowing it out of proportion. There's a real, I'm not saying it with absolutes, but there's a real strong possibility he's out more than the 3 games. They could put him on IR to be completely safe, because if he's out 2 to 3 weeks, they go, let's give him a 4th week to be safe. They put him on IR. Then they have the decision of whether they activate him from IR or just leave him out the rest of the season. I think it's going to come down to that 4th week is whether he comes back or not. I don't think that it's anything to do with 2 or 3 weeks. It comes down to, does he come back on that 4th week? If they think that he won't, they're going to put him on IR. And this man, Zach Moss, is going to be in win league mode for a lot of people. And for some crazy reason, he's available in 50% of leagues out there. That's insane. How in the hell is this guy available? How in the hell are JT owners dropping this man? It makes no sense whatsoever why you would own JT and not hold the most valuable cuff that we've seen in fantasy football this year. He has been the most valuable cuff, proven, tested. It's true. We've seen it tested to the full degree. This guy is the best cuff in fantasy football. I don't understand how anybody's going to cut this man. And he's been sitting on waivers in an uncomfortable amount of leagues. 50%. Crazy to me. Crazy. He vaults to the number 1 waiver wire ad this week. Available in 50% of leagues. Now, is he going to win you a league? He could. I wouldn't call him the biggest league winner of the year. I would say that Kyron falls in that category. Puka Nacua falls in that category. Tank Dell falls in that category. CJ Stroud falls in that category. And Zach Moss falls, I believe, right at the tail end of that, but could be in that conversation. Cup of coffee with those boys. Zach Moss doing his thing earlier in the year. As you can see, 88 yards and a tutty in week 1, 122 yards and 0 tutties in week number 3. Week number 4, 70. Week number 5, 165 and 2. Week number 6, 21 and 1. Then he kind of tails off, and JT's returning to form. JT's trying to get in his groove. There were some good reception totals. I believe it was this week 6 game. You can see it cut off there. 7 targets. He had a touchdown in that string of games, weeks 1 through 6 or whatever, a receiving touchdown. But this is a guy that can easily step in and be an 80 to 90 total yard guy with about a 65% chance of a touchdown every single game. And I think that, there's the game script situation here. Is this team able to hang? They've got a pretty decent lineup here going forward, though. Tennessee division situation that they need to win. They need to win that game pretty handedly. Week 14, the Bengals, that's winnable. The Pittsburgh Steelers, that could be their toughest opponent in this stretch the entire season right here. So it's possible that they win their next 2 games, Tennessee, Cincinnati. So if they win those 2 games, maybe they do want the possibility of not having this guy on IR, JT. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. Certainly in the wild card hunt, but I wouldn't say locked and loaded in it. But Zach Moss could win leagues for people in weeks 13, 14, 15. Or you could say not necessarily win leagues, but be more of a closer. a guy that kind of is the difference maker for you, the guy that fills in the gap. Maybe you've lost Jaylen Warren hopes right now because Najee came back to life and the new offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh says, we're going to use Najee now. And disappointment has struck your team. And you're saying, well, I need another RB. Zach Moss saves the day. Maybe you've had other injuries. Whatever the case may be, this is a low-end running back 1, at least a high-end running back 2 go forward. And I don't know that even if, let's say, JT returns, let's say Zach Moss dominates Tennessee in Week 13 and does great work in Week 14, does solid work in Week 15. And against Atlanta, JT comes back, let's say. Let's say the Colts have won 2 out of these 3 games here, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and they're like, let's go ahead and let's try and grab this wild card spot, shall we? And let's bring JT back against Atlanta, Week 16. Does he kind of have some sort of like slow unveiling like he did when they got him back in action earlier in the season? I would say the staff tends to be slow moving with bringing a player back from injury. So I don't know if we have any evidence that suggests they won't do the same thing. Bring him back slowly. They just going to phase Moss out right away? Probably not. So this Week 16 Atlanta game probably be a 50-50 split. Your best case scenario is he comes back after Tennessee, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, comes back in Week 16, probably splits all the carries in Week 16. And maybe if you're lucky, Week 17, he's getting 70% of the work. If you are lucky. I do not want any shares of JT moving forward, and if I've got an opportunity to go buy low on a Devontae Adams, I'm taking it. And if you want my advice on what to do, it's go across position. I don't care if you need running back. Figure out a second trade to make, if you can even trade. And some of you can still trade. I'd say about 25% of you can still trade. Some of you have some very late trade deadlines. Some of you play in keeper leagues. Some of you play in dynasty leagues. And that allows you to make some moves and maneuvers. So dynasty advice will be a little different because Devontae Adams is older. But there's stuff we could figure out if you call into the show later. But bottom line is this, guys. If you could still trade somehow, some way, and you can get rid of JT, you're going across position. You're going to wide receiver. You're going to Devontae Adams. You're going to a doubted wide receiver because somebody might take a gamble on an RB when they need an RB bad and they feel like they're set up pretty well for the playoffs, and you could go scoop up maybe a low-playing Devontae Adams. Go scoop up a pretty decent playing Deebo Samuel. Go scoop up a wide receiver that's doing fairly well. Throw JT in for a quarterback upgrade. Go get Mahomes because this other owner has Dak. Go do something crazy and get it done while you can, because if this man gets put on IR, he has zero value. If he doesn't get put on IR, you're still getting what you need out of the trade. But there's no way in hell I want to hold any JT shares if I can get out of JT right now. And we're seeing a bunch of like Derrick Henry. Should I take Derrick Henry for JT, Smitty? We had a couple of them last live stream. It's not yet to the point where people are jumping ship yet. There's a lot of people that are DMing, commenting. How many comments did you count in my live stream that were like, Smitty, you're blowing this out of proportion? They said 2 to 3 weeks. Welcome to the live stream, Bob, who owns 8 shares of JT. Anybody saying, oh, it's Smitty, it's just 2 to 3 weeks, calm down. You own 8 shares of JT. I don't blame you. I'd be upset too. I'd be defending this man's honor like the Karate Kid. I'd be out here doing the same thing you're doing. But the bottom line is this. If you're sitting here saying this guy's coming back in 2 to 3 weeks, guaranteed, Smitty, stop blowing it out of proportion. You own 87 shares of JT. There are still people that will take him. Go sell him. Zach Moss is going to be the starter. Justin Jefferson, this is another player. He's coming back. JJ's back. He's activated from IR. Jefferson is being activated from injured reserve and is expected to play week number 14. He has a bye this week, so he's helped no one for a very long time. Something we said was probably going to happen, and that people should jump off of the JJ situation. Trade out of it while you could, because if he breached that week 13 bye week territory, they were just going to continue to sit him through the bye week, and that's exactly what they did. And now you're looking at JJ coming back week 14, helping you week 14, 15, 16, 17. But will he truly help you in week 14? Will he ever even be even close to the same JJ with Joshua Dobbs under center, who can maybe win games, can maybe rush for touchdowns, maybe could rebound from this disaster of a week 12 performance, but there's no expecting him guaranteed bounce back Joshua Dobbs playing well type of performance in the wings. There's no telling how this is going to unfold for Joshua Dobbs. Currently, right now, doesn't look very good for Joshua Dobbs. Failing against the lowly Chicago Bears was a very big embarrassment and a very big confidence knock. And so now we're looking at JJ coming back, and you don't know what you're going to get. I venture to say you'd be lucky to get what Jamar Chase is doing right now. Not only does Joshua Dobbs not feel like, unfortunately, because it was such a good story, and I really wanted it to work out. I think all of us did. I don't know that this man is going to, JJ, be able to pull in touchdowns, even on the level he was pulling in with Kirk Cousins on the average. Now, Kirk Cousins and him were connecting on touchdowns to an abnormal degree in the positive direction before Cousins went down. This could have been a big touchdown year for JJ. It seemed like Cousins and JJ got over that hump of getting touchdown passes thrown in the direction of this man, which has always been kind of confusing, that he's the best receiver in the National Football League by a mile, but he can't get touchdowns. Even though he's a dominating player one-on-one, why doesn't he score? Why doesn't he get touchdowns? What is going on? It felt very much like Julio Jones. It felt like we were turning the tide a little bit, that he was going to maybe be a 12, 13, 14, 15 touchdown guy this year, and then Cousins went down. I don't know that you're going to get anything more than the 90 yards on a great day with really 0.2%, 20% chance of a touchdown. 20%, 15, 20% chance of a touchdown for JJ, meaning he might score 1 or 2 touchdowns the rest of the season once back in week 14, 15, 16, 17. Probably scores you right around 1 touchdown. 20 to 25% chance he's going to score a touchdown. I don't know if that's going to hold true. Maybe I'm wrong. But on the chance you can trade him now going into the bye week, get a wide receiver that you feel could score 2 or 3 touchdowns from here on out. Get a wide receiver that can help you get a win this week. Maybe you can't wait on JJ. Maybe you're like Mike Tyson and you had a plan until you got punched in the face. And him being out another week, sitting out the bye week now, but being out another week last week was a punch to the face. And now your plans have changed, but you can't really get rid of him. You fully committed. Take a poke around if you can trade him away. Some of you can't trade. Some of you are stuck, and I get it. It sucks. But I don't know what to expect. My expectation level for JJ is low. My expectation level for Justin Jefferson is low. It's about where Jamar Chase's expectation is, which is 60, 70, 80, 90 yards if you're lucky. Touchdowns are going to be very, very rare, but this is a player that can probably only give you 70%, 65, 70% of their ability going forward until they get their signal caller back. And that's just the reality of the situation. Another negative here, you guys know how much I love Kenneth Walker. You know how badly I want to push this Kenneth Walker button, but we're here to bleed the truth. We're here to adjust and adapt. I'm not here to sit here and dig my heels in about offseason predictions. He's done very well for us, but I've been kind of beating a slow drum about getting rid of him, not only with the rough schedule coming up, but just the feel of the offense. As I said about a month ago, a little over a month ago, it feels like if the touchdowns weren't there, he would be extremely disappointing, and it's the offense that's concerning. And by the way, we might draft at the end of the show. I know I said that earlier, but I think we definitely are. So hit that promo code Smitty. I'm going to drop the link right here. Here is the link to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Hit it, do it live. We will be drafting at the end of, or maybe not the end, but just in a little bit. So get ready, hit it, do it live. My thoughts here with Kenneth Walker are this. he's got so many red flags going against him. I don't know how anybody can be excited about Kenneth Walker right now. If we look at Kenneth Walker's red flags, Walker has tough schedule. That's red flag number 1. He's got Charbonnet, who's been eating into his workload. That's number 2. He's got injury. That's red flag number 3. He's got offensive limitations. His offense is so limited that it worries the hell out of me. And there's more red flags, but when you look at all this, schedule's horrible. Charbonnet's in there. He's currently injured. If he comes back, is he sharing with Charbonnet? The offense is limiting. They won't even be near the red zone enough to give the touchdowns, which is what Walker needed to survive. It's bleak. If you own Walker, you may be giving him away if you're even able to trade anymore. You may be giving him away in 1.5 weeks from today, if you can even trade, if your league allows for late trading. Again, we're entering week number 13. Some of you still being able to trade is a little more abnormal than not. I think week 11 to 12 is the deadline for most leagues. Week 11 mostly. I think week 12 people moved it because they like that. Some people like to trade all the way up to the playoff start, and I kind of like that myself in a way. I think that's probably how I would commission the league. I think that you should be able to try and, during the regular season, make maneuvers. I think there's nothing wrong with that. So I Smitty approve anybody being able to trade all the way up until week 14, the playoffs start. I Smitty approve that. I would sign a petition for that. But this is an ungodly amount of red flags, guys, and these aren't even all of them. Offense limited, schedule's horrible, Charbonnet, injury, who knows if he's even going to be healthy. And when you look at the schedule that they have, it didn't look as brutal when the Niners were struggling, but look at the red right there. San Francisco red, Dallas red, San Francisco red, back to Dallas. We just played San Francisco. Dallas red, San Francisco red, Philly red. And you just got a dose of what San Francisco is capable of doing with Charbonnet. Charbonnet was shut down big time. So even if Charbonnet plays that week 14, he's not a very good play. But San Francisco just concluded. Dallas, San Fran, Philly. That is a brutal schedule. Even Tennessee's no walk in the park, but that is one of the most brutal schedules. You mix that with the fact that Walker's got Charbonnet and a limiting offense, it doesn't bode well. So the question remains, what can you do? Who's going to trade for Kenneth Walker with all these red flags and risk? Not very many people. Maybe you go across position, because that's what your boy tells you to do when you need to get rid of somebody. A cross-position trade, Devontae Adams. A cross-position trade, Cooper Kupp. A cross-position trade, Puka Nacua. A cross-position trade, go do some sort of tight end upgrade. Go get a quarterback upgrade. Throw him into a top 5-6 quarterback to get Patrick Mahomes so you get something. Maybe you got Dak Prescott. Throw Dak and Walker together. Go get Patrick Mahomes. Take a gamble. Take a leap of faith that Mahomes going to come back strong and do something, or you're going to have literally nothing at the end of it all. It sucks. It is what it is. I wish it was different. I wish all my Walker believers could have Walker rejoice parties coming up here, but I don't think we're going to. And I'm just being real, and I'm just being here to give you a sense of reality. It is what it is. We are an adjust and adapt people, and we'll always do that. No matter how much we love a player, no matter how much we've talked a player up in the offseason, it's time to adjust and adapt. And when we go to Achane, I might have a lot of people saying, Smitty, are you adjusting and adapting on Achane? What makes this man special? Why are you digging your heels in here? If I was a dig my heels in person and I didn't actually adjust and adapt properly and without bias to the best degree of my ability, I think better than really anybody else could do it, because I've been doing this for a long time and I don't need to hold on to different predictions. I don't need to be right all year long about a player. That's what people, they misunderstand me and they misunderstand my job. My job isn't to try and predict something in June and hopefully see it through the whole year no matter what and stand by it. Anybody that comes to my live stream and says, I guess you're backing down on your Walker predictions, or, hey, Smitty, guess you don't like this guy. That's not my job. My job is not to just dig my heels in, take a prediction like a box score Bobby and stretch it out over the entire season no matter what, rain or shine, change in direction. I am changing direction. We always change direction. We always adjust and adapt. And Devon Achane is not somebody that I'm feeling I need to adjust and adapt on. I'll double down on it. I'll go get Devon Achane. I'll put him on every one of my rosters and let it ride because I believe he is a top 5 running back whenever he's on the field. I believe that these 2 knee injuries are more of the freak variety. I do believe that there is some risk involved in that Miami could dial him back for 2 or 3 games, and maybe we don't see the Devon Achane we want. Maybe they give him the Keaton Mitchell treatment and they give him the 5-6 carries, and you're like, what in the hell's going on here? He's ripping off 7 yards a pop. Let's feed the man, and he doesn't feed him. Maybe we see a letdown performance. Sure, it's certainly possible, but I'll tell you this. It's riskier to doubt this man than it is to go all in on him. And that's the determining factor. Is it riskier to doubt Walker than to go all in? Absolutely not. Get rid of him. Is it riskier to doubt JJ or go all in? I don't think it's riskier to doubt JJ. I don't think it's riskier to doubt JT. Ask yourself that question when you're forced to make a decision whether to go all in on a risky player or not. Or at least maybe not all in, but in one league, you got that opportunity in front of you. Or you're holding Achane and you're like, should I trade him? Everyone's freaking me out about it. Everybody's spreading all this fear and throwing gasoline on the fire when it comes to Achane, and it's affecting all the believers. Anybody that believes in this guy, anybody that's seen this guy deliver, is listening to a double-down Donnie that never owned him, a double-down Donnie that passed on him, a passing Peter who passed on Achane, and he's so bent out of shape over it, he's going to fuel all the negativity, throw a bunch of gasoline on the fire to try and panic everybody. Because guess what? Passing Peter is sick to his stomach that he didn't see Devon Achane coming. Passing Peter is ready to absolutely continue to fuel this fire because it makes him feel better about not being astute enough to see this man coming. Passing Peter is completely scared to death that he will be wrong at the end of the day. And guess where Peter's going to be once this all unravels for him and it goes in the direction of Devon Achane owners? He's going to be nowhere to be found. Peter won't be anywhere. Peter won't be sitting here talking his mad crap. All these Devon Achane scaredy cats out there are just mad and trying to rectify their mistake of missing out on getting him. They're trying to make themselves feel better by doubling down like Donnie on something they should have seen coming. And it makes them sick. It makes them feel like I'm not complete. I must be a bad owner if I didn't see Devon Achane coming. So I'm going to double down, say he's injury prone because he got 2 knee injuries really from the same knee issue, and he got suplexed on his knee randomly coming back from injury in week 11. Could have played week 12. Could have went back in the game in week 11. They sat him in week 12 precautionary. He could have played week 12. He could have played week 11. Let's hope they don't sit him again as a precautionary measure in week 13. Let's hope there's no setback. Devon Achane is not somebody I'm backing down from. I am not feeling good about JT. I'm not feeling good about JJ. I'm not feeling good about my boy, Kenneth Walker, but that's being real. This man right here, I feel great about it. And I love that there's doubt all over the place. I love that people are scared to death about this guy. And let's get to the super chats. Appreciate you all. Mac with the first super chat of the evening gets a standing ovation like an absolute monster. Hurt my back, so I'm a little bit slow getting up, and appreciate you, Mac, dropping a $2 hauler like an absolute monster. Let's get on over to TMs. Achane is a TD on any given touch. I agree, TM. Achane to Saturn. Only two people are Saturn men. I don't know if it'll string into next year. Like they may be the two first Saturn men. I think they probably will be. But Jahmyr Gibbs, we sent to Saturn. And the only other running back we've sent to Saturn was Devon Achane. So those are our two Saturn inductees, our two Saturn spacemen. I don't think that's going to change, to be quite frank, but we'll see. We'll see who our Saturn men are in the offseason. We'll have the Moon men, the Mars men, and the Saturn men. And the Saturn men, quite frankly, will be the most valuable men because that planet is further away. That planet is a much more dynamic planet. It's just a little bit better. I venture to say we do a Saturn club. Maybe all the Moon men automatically get, rights to the Saturn perks because I think that would be, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it, but the Saturn club might open up. We might have a Saturn card. I don't know. And maybe we do something else. We'll see. So anyway, appreciate you, TM42, for dropping that. Thank you very much. Alex, appreciate you dropping a $5 hauler. Need a replacement for JT. Have two running backs and Gibbs. Luckily, got wide receiver depth, Olave, Nico, Cup, Tank, Tyreek, Garrett Wilson. Trades for running backs with my wide receivers 6 and 6. By the way, if we go to thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, where you can get all my content year round, and I take a gander at my running back list, and I say, remember we kept saying Kyron's a good trade for, Kyron's a good trade for all week last week. Kyron's a good trade for. Go get Kyron. Go get Kyron. Buy low on Kyron. Go get Kyron. Does anybody remember that? Go get Kyron. Yeah, that's off the table. Etienne's an interesting buy low. Eckler's an interesting buy low. Bijan still has some buy low capability, but his value is climbing. Barkley's got some interesting buy low capability, but he's touch and go. Hall's touch and go. Monty's kind of a crafty, safe buy low. Jaylen Warren, very, 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 very low end buy low. It sucks. Goes from 1 week of being a potential league winner to getting, moved back down to the number 2 role unexpectedly, and I think not warranted. But I still think he's got buy low capability. Raheem Mostert, people are worried about Achane coming back, and will Mostert be phased out? I don't think so. Pollard's still got some buy low capability. Pacheco no longer is a buy low. Rashad White, you can't really buy low. I would say those seem to be the RBs in question, for or at least that help you on this question. I think those would be some. So maybe you're going after one of those guys using Garrett Wilson and an RB. Maybe you trade JT and Garrett Wilson for one of those guys, especially the higher end names that I read from the top down. I think those would be very good, Alex. If you got any offers or potential maybe deals you're going to send out, hit me back and we'll take a look at it. Matt with a $20 super chat. Matt, you absolute monster, you.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
God, my back is killing me. I did do an ice bath right before. I've been cold plunging. And I got to tell you, man, it feels so much better. I'd probably numb the pain is all I did. Probably be something that I think wears off. But, man, it feels about at least 50 to 60% better briefly. Smitty, name your Super Bowl matchup and reason why. Love the show, brother. Keep it rolling. I'm going to say Philly. Man. That's a tough one because I want to say KC just pulls it out. I know everybody's doubting KC right now, but we look at the AFC and we say Miami atop the AFC, Ravens atop the North, Miami atop the AFC East, Ravens atop the North, Jacksonville the South, KC the West. Nobody else in the West is going to be up there. Burrow being injured and out means that there's no Bengals. There's no AFC North in the Super Bowl. I don't think the Ravens are going to be good enough but they could be. You never know. I wouldn't rule them out, but I would say they're not going to be my pick. I truly think the Buffalo Bills are going to be in the mix for a Super Bowl run. I think that they're going to grab a wild card spot and be a team that completely shocks the world. I think the Miami Dolphins could absolutely. For me, it comes down to the Ravens, Dolphins, Bills, and Chiefs. I don't think the Jaguars are ready yet. I don't think the Steelers are going to have enough put together, too much volatility. So for me, it's going to come down to, I think the Ravens aren't quite there. I think the injury to Andrews is going to hurt them and make them inconsistent. It's Buffalo, Miami, or KC. And Miami's 8-3. People can make fun of them all they want, say that Tua's going to choke and all that. I think that Buffalo, and it comes down to, for me, it comes down to Buffalo, KC. Let's go KC versus, we'll go Niners and Eagles. Eagles win. Eagles versus KC. Eagles win the Super Bowl. That's what I'm going to predict. I think you can't stop Jalen Hurts. It feels like a winning environment. It feels like a winning recipe. And I think the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Appreciate you for your question, my guy. Thank you so much. Philadelphia refs versus KC refs. That's true, Andrew. That's a good point. What refs get to call this game? Buffalo could miss the playoffs. I mean, they're certainly on the cusp right now, but I think it depends on the next couple of games, but they definitely need to start turning it around. It's going to be a close battle. Those 3 wild card spots in the AFC are going to be hard to get. Like that's why we talk about like in the case of on both sides really. But in the case of the Colts trying to grab one of those, the Colts are 6-5. The Buffalo Bills are 5-6. The Buffalo, 6-6. The Buffalo Bills have up-road climb. They've got to literally like kind of win out in order to lock in and clinch one of those wild card spots. But I think they will. I think Pittsburgh 7-4. They're in good position to get one. The Cleveland Browns 7-4, good position to get one. Colts, you never know. Broncos, I don't think they're going to win out or anything like that. Texans are kind of a wild card too. Texans could grab the last wild card spot. It's certainly possible. We got a lot of football to play, but Buffalo needs to win out. They need to almost win out, essentially win out. But I think the Bills will grab one of we'll grab the last wild card spot. Let's say. AFC does seem down, bro.
Motion detected at the front door.
Ron Navy celebrating 17 months of the membership. Smitty, you afraid to pick against KC? No. I mean, do you think that, are you wanting me to say the Steelers, Ron? I knew if Ron was here, he'd be so upset that I didn't say the Steelers were going to the Super Bowl. Sorry, Ron, I don't think you're ready yet. I don't think the team, you just changed coordinators. Give yourself some time. My running back 2 is now Keaton Mitchell. Would you trade Tyreek Hill for Swift and Puka? I don't think so, bro. I don't think that's enough. Would I trade for Puka and like a Gibbs or Bijan or even higher than that? Maybe. But you gotta value Hill like that. You can't value Hill like DeAndre Swift and Puka. You need to get Puka or Kupp with a freaking, I mean, Kyron, bro. You need Kyron and Puka. You don't need Swift and Puka. That's what Tyreek Hill commands. Brock or Goff? I'm going to go Purdy. I think Goff has looked pretty mediocre. Mixon or Singletary? I lean Singletary for the moment. Broncos, Chargers, Falcons, Jags, Bucks defense. That one's week to week, bro. I don't think there's a way to, I mean, I like the Jags probably overall, but that certainly could be week to week. I mean, we're getting down to the wire here, and you have the ability to play matchups, in a very, very confined way. But I would say, like, if I'm picking one, the Jaguars. Trade Gibbs for Ayuk. I would rather have Gibbs by a lot, bro. Like, that's not even close to me. I like Ayuk, I do, but Gibbs is a top 5 running back in my mind. And that costs way more than Ayuk. $10 hauler from Sauls. Appreciate you. Sauls. Hertz, St. Brown, JJ, Puka, Kyron, Gibbs, James Cook, JT, unfortunately. Singletary, Ford, Komet, Goddard. I lost Andrews and trying to navigate with JT. 8-4, and he moves. Title run. Probably say, bro, you may want to hold. You've got a really good team. I would say this. I would say you probably had like a walk in the park championship potentially at your feet. Now losing JT, you're probably still the favorite or like top 3. And I don't really feel like there's a need here for you. I think that Kyron, Gibbs, and unless you can like trade James Cook or Singletary or Ford and try it, sucks you lost Andrews too, and trying to figure out a way to like JT and let's call it JT and JJ for like, could you get a Diggs for that? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm looking to do, is use JT as trade bait. Maybe somebody's like, hey, I'll get him back. It's fine. There's a lot of people that think that way. There's a lot of people that say he's 2 and 3. Typically people that already own him, but maybe this guy owns the guy you're going after, Diggs. Maybe he owns JT in a couple other leagues and he's going to make himself feel better by trading for him and giving himself some confidence by double downing, being a double downing Donnie. I mean, JT and JJ for Diggs and something would be kind of a cure for you here. But I don't think there's anything wrong with staying put. Cook and JT for, I don't know, one player. You could bank on Kyron and Gibbs and go JT and Cook for a wide receiver like Adams. Past that, you really are set up very nicely. I don't think you necessarily need to make a trade. Be careful making a trade because you're still you've got to be at least a top 4 team that can knock off one team at a time and win a championship. Is it worth trading Moss as a temp Achane Warren replacement? Is it worth trading for Moss as a... Well, why do you need an Achane replacement? I don't understand this. Achane's a top 5 running back if he's in there. Warren's still fantastic. He's just back to getting maybe half of the work or a little less, but maybe that changes back in the direction of, hey, they just went with a hot hand, and if Warren gets hot, they start going with Warren again. But you don't need an Achane replacement. Keep him away from JT owner, and to keep him away from the JT owner. I mean, definitely go get Moss if you can pick him up off waivers, or if you could trade for him on the cheap, but you don't need an Achane replacement. That part I don't understand. I think you're letting the masses get to you in making you think you don't have a top 5 running back. I'm tight end heavy, got McBride, Goddard, Muth. Who should I drop from Moss? Full PPR. Help me, Smitty. Probably McBride. You can't drop Muth. Seems like they're going to use him more now with the change. The change in Pittsburgh. 10, 11 targets, I think, for Muth in week number 12. So, and Goddard coming back. McBride's a little more expendable. Ertz coming back. I'd definitely drop McBride in this situation that you're presenting to me. 8-4, Lamar, Kyler, JT, Moss, Hall. Sorry about JT, bro, but at least you got Moss, Hall, Mostert, Achane, Warren. You backed up yourself very nicely. Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Tyreek. Wow. Laporta, any moves? Got Moss for Najee before the news broke. Nice. I like that. Nice job, bro. Nice job. Way to utilize the Najee uptick in value to back up your situation. As far as trades, I like your team a lot. I'm almost tempted that you keep Lamar and Kyler just to help yourself feel strong and solid and supported at the quarterback spot, given the injuries you've been hit with. I think Moss and Hall and Mostert and Achane's pretty good. Like, I'm almost tempted to say you roll with Warren, Achane, and Moss for your 3 RBs. I think Warren's still very startable. Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, and Tyreek is fantastic. Quite honestly, unless I'm trading like DJ Moore and maybe JT and Moss for one monster RB like Kyron JT Moss and I mean JT Moss and DJ Moore for Kyron and something would be something I'd toy around with. Or even better yet, if you could keep DJ Moore and go with, like, let's say that person needed a QB, that would be the only time I'd be tempted to say, like, give him Kyler or Lamar and give him JT and Moss, and you get Kyron. Kyron would be a target of mine. Even though he had a big game, he'd still be a target of mine. I think Cooper Kupp's an interesting go-get player. I think Bijan's an interesting go-get player using JT Moss and maybe a wide receiver. I don't know that I want to give up JT Moss and DJ Moore though, but I'd be tempted. I just don't know. I think Moss is serviceable enough that you maybe don't do that. I think you're pretty good. I think you're 8-4 for a reason. You've been managing this pretty well, and unless you can get some maybe a massive quarterback upgrade, maybe you trade JT and Moss to turn Lamar into Mahomes and something, depending on what the something is. Those would be avenues I would explore with your squad. James, appreciate you with the $5. I lost Andrews, but scooped up Likely. Would you trade Gabe Davis for Ingram? I probably would, yes. My tight end now is Jonnu. Yeah, go get Ingram. Nice, Smitty approved that trade. Thank you for the super chat. Let's hit the phone calls. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the Christopher Smith phone line. $430 super chat earned him the phone line. Let's see here. I gotta freaking click something real quick. I'm sorry. My phone was trying to update. That makes Christopher Smith the current placeholder for the phone line name. So appreciate you, Christopher Smith. If anybody drops a $431 super chat, it will be your phone line until somebody knocks you off the mantle. And I'll tell you right now, if let's say somebody did drop a $430 super chat, your boy Smitty would 100% keep your name up there for a little bit, like I have Wheel Snipe City. This is a call from the 151 area code. Who is this and where are you calling from, 151?
The phone number is registered to California, but I'm calling from South Carolina. My name is Trevor.
Trevor from South Carolina. What can I do for you, pal?
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank you for all you do to start off with. Second, Achane is the man. Achane, however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear any lip from anyone else about that.
Either do I.
And I just want to say, because of you, I am leading my league at 8-4. And I love the show.
Hey,
I really don't got anything to ask.
The show loves you back, bro. And let me ask you this.
Appreciate it, Smitty.
Achane, who are your RBs? What's your RB room look like?
Oh man, you're gonna love this. So I got McCaffrey, I got a Kamara, and I had JT, but now I have Achane and James Conner. And I got that not because I'm in the Grandma League. I'm actually in a 14-man league, but I know how to trade because I listened to your advice.
Bro, that's awesome. Who are your wide receivers?
That's where it's a little spotty. I had Thielen, but I mean, he's still in, but he's kind of gone downhill ever since the bye. I have Diggs, and again, he's been spotty, and that's why I have 4 losses. Really,
yeah, but
wide receiver rooms.
I think he'll be fine there. That's the Buffalo Bills have to go on a tear, so I think this will treat you good. Okay, who's your third receiver?
Yeah. My third receiver was Christian Kirk and Myers, but I really haven't. I've only been streaming in my flex because it's a single flex wide receiver or a running back. I've just been flexing RBs because I've been so strong there.
Yeah. So my advice to you would be to try and trade JT away if you can. I know it's not going to be easy, but there are a lot of ambulance chasers. There, you can't trade at all. Oh, that sucks.
No.
Okay.
It ended on Thanksgiving.
Hey,
I tried to trade him for Kyron, but that guy didn't want Kyron at the time, and I thought it was a pretty good price to give him JT for Kyron, unknowing what happened.
Who are the top waiver wire wide receivers? Is Jay
the third string on the Saints? That's probably the top.
You talking about A.T. Perry? Or are you talking about Shaheed?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
A.T. Perry. Because
Perry.
there's 14 people, so they all are like Skyping wide receivers.
Yeah, he ain't bad.
That's how a lot of the teams last year. Yeah, no. And I agree completely. I just have Kamara, and on my bench I have Taysom Hill, so I'm just going to string those two. And I was just going to, pray for the best for Thielen.
Yeah. Thielen, I have a feeling if you sit Thielen, he'll do something. So he's good enough for you.
Exactly.
All right, bro, go win a championship. Who's your quarterback?
Oh, you're going to love this. I traded Love for Stroud.
Nice.
Before Stroud was going off.
Nice.
So I think I got him the week before he hit 40.
Nice job, bro. You got this.
League, so.
Go report back when you win your
sir.
championship. Report back. All right, later, Trevor.
Absolutely.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Theo from Illinois. Theo, what is up, my man, Theo?
I'm not trying to diss you. I'm just trying to ask a question.
Okay.
Would you still be as high on Achane if you weren't an Achane owner?
I think what you need to understand about me, bro, is, and it's okay if you're new to the channel. I don't know if you are new to the channel or not, but I truly do my very best to be unbiased. I try not to bring any bias to the table, and I'm a human being, so I will be victim to it once in a while. I admit that, and there have been times where I have, but I think I own Walker in a ton of places, bro. I think me coming out today, especially tying Walker and Achane together in my opening and going through what I did, me telling you that this is not going to work out, in my opinion, as hard it is for me to say that, should tell you that this man right in front of you, and I'm pointing to myself, is not going to bring, in my opinion, my assessment could be off. That doesn't mean I'm bringing bias to the table. I might be off on Achane, but I'm not biasly just digging my heels in. Or wouldn't I be doing that with Walker? Wouldn't I be doing that with ETN? There's certainly some concern with their workloads and what's going on. I started about a month ago beating a slow, steady drum beat about what if we got off of Walker, guys? What if you just looked around? What if you were able to do this specific move to get rid of Walker? So I get what you're wanting to say, but and you might say you own Achane. I'm not saying I don't believe you, but most negativity is coming from somebody that doesn't own him. Because if you owned him,
I don't own him.
Yeah, you don't.
To trade for him all year.
Thank you for being honest with me. But most people that don't own him are negative because they're so upset. I got a psych degree, bro. I can read right through it. They're so upset down deep that they missed it. And you just said you've been trying to trade for him all year, right?
I literally dropped him. I dropped him the week before he popped off.
So that makes you so mad inside, psychologically. You're trying
not
to.
Really.
It is, believe me. You're trying. Okay. You're trying to prove that it wasn't a bad move at the end of the day. That's like you don't even know it's. I've
been trying to trade for him, like sending crazy offers for him.
I know, but I'm just saying the reason you're even having this moment of, do you think that you would be? You're casting a little doubt and negativity on it.
I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying for the other people who are to like try to explain the.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
because I'm looking out for my community. I'm first in my league, so I don't really care about like.
Yeah,
trying to look up everybody else.
I could be wrong on it, but it's not going to be because of bias. It's going to be. Look, my eyeballs don't lie to me. When this man's on the field, he is one of 4 running backs I could say are in my top 4 running backs in the National Football League. His ability,
I agree,
to explode and go untouched and absolutely navigate open space. His being in the offense that he is a huge bonus, and that's something you can't take away from him. A lot of people will come in and say if you put him on any other offense, he wouldn't do this. He would. Who cares about that? It's Mickey Mouse conversation. What kind of conversation are we going to have about what if we took Arian Foster off the Texans back in the day? What if Priest Holmes wasn't a Kansas City Chief? Well, we can't play that game. So anybody wanted to play that game, just further proving
like
my point.
What if Breece Hall was on the Dolphins?
Yeah, it's crazy to me, bro. It's crazy to me. But to answer your question, it's a fair question. I'm not mad at your question. I'm not calling you a hater. I just feel like if anybody thinks I'm only doing this because I own him, look, first of all, let me just say that I play in a ton of leagues, And in some of those leagues, I can't even check my lineup. I'm so busy doing my show. I need to dial back down to like 2 or 3 leagues. I need to get the Bruce, who we need to hear from lately. The Bruce, we need to hear from the Bruce. If Bruce is watching, call him, Bruce. We need you, bro. We need you, bro. But I might need I might need to have Draven manage all my teams because I don't really have time anymore. And so like there's a lot of scenarios where I forget where I was even going to go with that. I was going to admit something about like I don't know. There might even be scenarios where Achane was available on waivers, and I just can't even check that league. I'm not even able to. Like, none of this is coming from this team is driving me to make this opinion. I got so many like hands in the fire and all these different fires. It's a blessing to me that one of my leagues doesn't influence my fantasy take. It really doesn't. Because I have too many things going on. It means more to me if Achane does well than for any of my fantasy leagues. I really don't have like any skin in the game because of the way I operate, because of the way I operate my business. It comes first. I'll literally let 10 leagues go without me checking the lineup. If I've got to go live on breaking news right before Sunday opening, I'll try and if I can pull up one of my favorite 2 or 3 leagues, if it's a big money league, and set my lineup. But I live for the show. I don't live for even some of the leagues that I do. Like there are a couple that I really keep tabs on, but I think I might need Draven to just manage all my teams. I'm just a little fearful he's going to make some moves and accept some trades that I'm going to just be upset about and just livid. We'll have to see. All right. Hey, it's a good question though. Who is it that asked this question? Theo?
Theo.
All right. You got anything else, Theo?
No, that's it.
All right, later. Who's making like a snow cone right there? I can hear. Let's go over to Spiffy. Spiffy, you're live.
What's up, Smitty? I have a trade on the table that I'm trying to get past, and just want to get your thoughts on it. I would be sending away Kyler Murray, mind you, I already have Stroud, for Dalton Schultz.
I don't hate that.
Or Evan Ingram, because he has both.
I kind of like Schultz a little more right now because I like the Texans' offense right now. I like Schultz's involvement. I like how they send him downfield. We loved him last year for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay. I'm okay with this if you've got Stroud. You said you had Stroud?
I have Stroud.
I mean, I hate giving away depth, but you kind of need a tight end more than you need depth at quarterback. So I'd say go ahead and make this trade. I'd try and get a little more if you could. Like, let's say they had a Keaton Mitchell. Let's say they had I don't know, something along those lines.
They do have a Keaton Mitchell.
There you go. Maybe just say, let's do it. But I do need an RB, and I was going to do this other deal. But if you throw in, who could you throw in? Who do you even have? Oh, I got so-and-so. Act like you don't even know who's on the roster, bro. Be like, who do you have? I got so-and-so and so-and-so. Okay, what about you throw in, use a bigger name? And he goes, no. And then you go, well, I don't know. Throw in Keaton Mitchell. He's garbage. Just throw him in. They barely use him. And then to get Keaton Mitchell, all of a sudden I love the trade. I don't like the trade. Now I love the trade.
Yeah. You think if not him, maybe Amari Cooper?
Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly take Amari Cooper.
Or you think Michael Thomas comes back? Because he also has...
Who's that? Who's Michael Thomas?
I think the trade's good. I mean, I'll tell you, my time situation is horrendous. Like, I had Isaiah Likely I picked up, and before that I had... the guy from the Taggers. What's his name?
Reed?
Musgrave?
Oh, Musgrave. You talking about tight end?
Tight end?
Yeah, Musgrave, unfortunately. Yeah, Musgrave went down,
and
unfortunately.
then he screwed me. And then I picked up Likely, which is in a bye this week, so it doesn't help me. So I was like, you know what?
Go get him, Spiffy.
So,
call back if you got another one.
We'll do.
Later.
We'll do. Bye.
Carl, you got 30. You're live. Hello, Carl.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, Carl?
All right, perfect. So I am trying to target Moss, so I'm in a must-win situation. And I'm willing to give up Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins and the Kenneth Walker Charbonnet combination.
Woo!
So starting with the
Whoa. Not all of them. Okay.
Oh no, of course not all of them. No,
I
I'm
was
just
like,
saying
bro.
these are players I'm willing to depart.
I was like, bro, you're a go
would
at the
you give
moment.
up Kenneth and Charbonnet for Zach Moss alone?
Let's take a vote on this one. Here's why I think it's tempting to say yes. I'd rather have Zach Moss over Walker and Charbonnet because of all the red flags that I told you about. Like if, let's say, Walker comes back, then Charbonnet's not getting any volume or not getting enough volume. Walker's not getting enough volume, and they both have horrible matchups, and the offense is puttering, and they're not going to have a lot of goal line looks. And so you have two RBs you're trying to decide between, of which they're going to get very minimal and bad work. So you got to ask yourself, like, are we going to stick to our guns and say, oh, Walker's a big name, we gotta stick with Walker, or are you going to take the player that is going to has produced and absolutely outproduce Kenneth Walker, even if Walker comes back, against the schedule he has, which is the Niners, the Eagles, and what was it? Niners, Eagles. I had it on screen here.
Someone equally as bad. It's ugly.
It was Eagles, Niners. Let me see if I have it right here. That's Zach Moss. Zach Moss's schedule, by the way, looks pretty decent. He's got a pretty decent one. It was here it is. Walker's schedule. The Dallas Cowboys are up next this week. That's right. The Cowboys this week. The Niners next week. The Eagles in week 15. Brutal. Give me Zach Moss. The question is, will they even give you Zach Moss for Walker and Charbonnet? Who would want it?
That is a great question. That's a great question. Now, what about T. Higgins? What about T. Higgins for Zach Moss? That type of swap. How do you feel about that one?
Well, let me ask you a question. What is T. Higgins right now? How in the hell is he going to get you Zach Moss? That's almost like you find a $20 bill and somebody walks up to you and says, or no, it's kind of like this. Let's say there's a rolled up piece of paper on the ground, and somebody says, "Hey, who wants this rolled up piece of paper?" And the guy next to you goes, "I don't want it." And you say, "I'll take it." And you open it up and there's a $20 bill in it. And you look over to the guy next to you and you're like, "You should have took this piece of paper." And it's almost as if that guy goes, "Hey, can I have it now?" That's like what you're asking for from Zach Moss when you're trading T. Higgins. T. Higgins is like the nothing option, and then all of a sudden Zach Moss turns into this unicorn again, and now you're just wanting to swap for nothing, for a nothing burger. There's no way somebody wants to give Zach Moss away now once you opened up that piece of paper and there's a $20 bill inside, because that's what happened. Zach Moss was free. He was getting cut left and right. Now T. Higgins, he's worth nothing. Jamar Chase is barely worth anything. So I think it's gonna be almost funny to that owner if you go to him and say, "Hey, I'll give you T. Higgins for that piece of paper now that I know what's inside of it." I'll take it. Maybe he would have done it before. Maybe he would have said, maybe T. Higgins comes back and does something. But now he knows what's inside that piece of paper, bro. Not going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now I have one more. Now, Cooper Kupp.
All right, last one.
This is a big-time player with big boomer bust potential versus, and I wanted you to trade him away for Zach Moss and probably some bench piece. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. Part of me thinks that it could definitely work out for either side. I think to say that Moss is better than Kupp or Kupp's better than Moss is kind of reckless to just act like I know the answer to that. The truth of the matter is Cooper Kupp could still be a top 6 wide receiver go forward, or he could be not even a top 15 guy because he gets hurt again. We just don't know. I think you're taking a gamble either way. You're taking a gamble trading away Cooper Kupp. You're taking an almost equal gamble holding him and not getting a Zach Moss. There's no really easy way to answer that. I would say I'd probably slightly rather have Cooper Kupp, but just by a little bit, and 1 week could go by and I could feel completely different, and I'm admitting that right now.
Okay, I feel that.
All right.
All right, so thank you.
All right, appreciate you, Carl. Later. Let's go over to actually, hold on. Everybody, please mute if you're on the phone line. We got a lot of background noise. Let me get through some of these super chats, and I'm going to come back to the phone line. But if I hear anybody and there's sound, I'm going to disconnect from you. So please make sure you're on mute so you don't get hung up on. $5 hauler from Parker. Start 4, 2 running backs, 2 flex spots: Swift, Brees, Gibbs, Sharps, Devonta Smith, Ridley, Thielen, tight end Goddard, and Njoku. I'm going to say, okay, so 2 running backs, 2 flex spots. Give me Swift, give me Gibbs. That's pretty easy. Devonta Smith, and probably Ridley. Those are your best options. I'm not really contemplating anything else. Tight end Goddard or Njoku. If Goddard's a full go, I go Goddard. So that's pretty easy too. Just depends on if he's a full go. Any last minute trades, 6 and 6. Purdy, Bijan, JT, Warren, Ridley, Ayuk, Olave, Laporta, Taysom. I'd try and trade Taysom Hill if I could. I'm trying to upgrade Purdy into Mahomes if I can do that. If I can do that using like even an Ayuk, I would. If I could do that using even an injured Olave, I'd maybe consider that, because I don't know if Olave is going to be out this week or not. We'll have to wait on that. Usually when a player has a concussion, they sit the next week unless they're a 49er. And last I checked, Olave's not. So I don't know. I like Warren a lot. Under the radar right now. I think that he took a big hit in value, but I don't necessarily trade him away because you're not going to get what you want out of him. So I'd probably hold on to him. I'd be tempted to trade Laporta on the high if it got me the quarterback upgrade. And past that, I mean, JT and a receiver like Olave for a Cooper Kupp, you could go that route if you wanted. You could try and use JT as gravy to get a maneuver. Like Olave up to Diggs would be even better than Cooper Kupp. So if you were to go after Diggs, if you were to go after Kyron using JT and Olave, who's that? Who's not on mute? Who's not on mute? Allen. And he just left. Okay. Hopefully you get it done there. Appreciate you, bro. TM42, would you rather have down? That guy hung up so quick. he deuced out real quick. Would you rather have Downs or Watson rest of season? I think Downs could be safer, but Watson's certainly got more risk and more upside. So you kind of got to pick your poison there. I really think Watson's been extremely unlucky all year long. He's had touchdown target after touchdown target the entire season, and it hasn't really even been his fault a majority of the time. Thomas, appreciate your $2 hauler. You didn't attach anything to it, but I appreciate you, Thomas. Hoosiers, $10 hauler, $10 to the moon. You get a moonshot, Hoosiers. Appreciate you. Hoosiers says, Smitty. Where am I here? Hold on, where is it? There it is. 12-team PPR starter, 1-6, now 5-7. Nice job. Was making a solid push, but you'll see. Any thoughts on salvaging this team? Murray, Goff, Barkley, JT, Connor, Singletary, Chandler, AJB, Pittman, Hopkins, JSN, Douglas, Laporta. So, I mean, JT, look, Barkley's hard to trade, but I'd be tempted to poke around. Would I take a gamble on like an ETN on the low and get like maybe Barkley? I don't know. Barkley have crap in the bed last week also puts Barkley in a disadvantage in terms of trading him away on the high. You got to trade him away on the low. But part of me thinks you could get some sort of 2-for-2 going. Like, what if you traded Barkley and JT and you got ETN and an Adams, or ETN and a wide receiver, or something along those lines? Connor and JT, or if you go wide receiver like Pittman and JT, what could you get? What could you get for that? Could you get a Bijan? Could you get a... I feel like Eckler's a good buy low. Could you trade Hopkins and JT and Connor, or could you trade Barkley and JT for just Eckler or ETN? Could you potentially trade Hopkins and Barkley for Eckler, and take a gamble on Eckler, to take a gamble? Maybe you could get Kyron for Barkley and Hopkins. I don't know. Probably not, but Kyron's going to be hard to trade for. But those would be all moves I would potentially make. Trying to get Mahomes using Murray, JT and Murray for Mahomes. Take a gamble there. Then you got Barkley, Singletary, Connor, AJB, Pittman. You might be able to make a run. If you got Mahomes in there, that's probably my focal point for you, bro. Go get Mahomes, Hoosiers. That would be the way to do it. Don't give up one of the big guns. But if you could sell Kyler and a JT, Kyler and a Hopkins, I'm taking Mahomes, and I'm taking that gamble because with the couple of the big guys, the guns that you have, you could maybe get it done one game at a time. Be that team that's like 4th or 5th projected that wins it all because they just knocked off the right team at the right time at the right place. 1 QB, 1 flex PPR team is Kyler, Hall, Etienne, Amon-Ra, Chase, Kincaid, JJ, Benches, T-Law, London, Walker, Sharps. 6 and 6 need 1 win to get in. Who is that? Is that Bud or is that Gavin? One QB, 1 flex PPR team is Kyler Hall. I look, this team's interesting. I just the problem is you got JJ, Chase, and Hall and ETN all underperforming or huge risks. I don't think this team. I'm fearful for this team, but trading low on those guys is a tough thing to do unless you can couple 2 of them together, like Chase and maybe Hall for Eckler, Chase and maybe Hall for Kyron and something, Chase and Hall for maybe. I mean, look, you could bank on ETN and Hall, and you could try and get rid of, let's say, a Walker and Chase for Eckler or something along those lines. Something along those lines could work. Not too sure what I would do past that, bro. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think Walker, you trade him away the best you can. Walker and Sharps together to upgrade Chase. Walker and Sharps together to upgrade Hall. Maybe you're able to give Walker and Sharps and Kyler for Mahomes and something and take that gamble with Mahomes. That's kind of where I'd head with that team. Jaime, appreciate you. Drop Kenneth Walker, Sharps for Najee and Muth on the waiver wire. You can't drop Walker, bro. That's not what this live stream's about. It's about trading him. You can't drop him. You just can't. No. There's got to be other players you can drop, but you can't drop Kenneth Walker. Like he would be scooped up immediately, meaning he's got trade value. So go for an Adams. Go for a wide receiver that's very doubted. Just throw him in to get a slight quarterback upgrade, but don't drop him. Forgot I got Ridley too. Nice job, Chase. Ridley's a fantastic wide receiver 2-3 going forward. He's really got wide receiver 1 upside, but you don't need to have him in that spot because nobody's got him as their wide receiver 1. Russian collusion to the moon. Appreciate your $10 hauler. We're getting to phone calls in 1 second. Smitty missed beginning of the show. What is JT news for the missed games? Well, rewatch it for sure, Russian. But in a nutshell, he's out 2 to 3 weeks with this surgery. But there's a report out that IR is not off the table. Okay, so I think it depends on if they can grab a wild card spot. But he's out at least 2 to 3 weeks. I think 2 to 3 weeks is optimistic, to be honest. But definitely check out the rest of the show for way more detail on it. Wilson or Watson this week, I'm probably going to go, I assume this is Garrett Wilson and not any other Wilson. So I'm going to say probably Garrett Wilson over, probably Garrett Wilson over Watson. It's a tough matchup for Watson, but I think I go Garrett. I guess I go Garrett Wilson. $10 hauler from Rob.
To the moon.
Rob, appreciate you. Rob says, Smitty, 12-team PPR, Hurts, Swift, Bijan, ETN, JJ, Adams, Tank, Mike Evans, great team, Hawkinson. I drafted running back heavy and traded for JJ week 3 and Devontae Adams last week. I think I got him, bro. I think you do too. I think this team is phenomenal. I don't even see anything worth upgrading unless you trade like JJ away for like Cooper Kupp if you want to take that lateral risk. Or you're somehow, some way upgrading, and I like Swift. You don't need to trade him. Somehow upgrading Swift into Kyron, using JJ, and then you get something else back. Swift and Mike Evans for Kyron straight up potentially. And I don't even know if that's something you need to do. I think it would be something that would be fun to do. But and if you can't trade, then you're good to go, bro. You're good to go. Maybe your trade deadline's passed, but you have a team that could absolutely annihilate anybody, one team at a time. All right, let's hit the phone lines. If anybody else wants to dial in, the phone line is right here. Dial into the show. Andres, you are live. Appreciate the super chats.
What's up, Smitty? I wanted your honesty on my team. See if you think I have a championship team or not.
All right, hit it quick.
Okay, so it's Dak Prescott and C.J. Stroud. I have Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco. I have Achane, Tank Dell, Ayuk, Kincaid on bye week this week. Logan Thomas, I'm debating dropping him for Freiermuth.
Well, you said I'm sorry. You said Dell, Ayuk, and who else? Kincaid.
Kincaid at tight end, yes sir. It's a 1 QB league, 10 team.
Can you trade or no?
10 team league PPR. What's up?
Can you trade?
Yes, we can still trade. The deadline is Friday. I have Addison and Flowers on bench as well for wide receiver.
Addison and Flowers.
Ayuk.
Okay.
So my wide receivers: Tank Dell, Ayuk, Flowers, and Addison.
Yeah,
My
that's
tight
good.
end, Kincaid.
It's a good team. I
drop.
think. I think Pacheco, and I think if Achane comes back to form, and Pacheco continues to do what he's doing, like Dak and Stroud, that's gonna be a tough call for you each week. Dak's been playing unbelievable, but I still think Stroud's capable of outscoring him any given week, so it's gonna be a tough one. That would have been a nice trade to make. Maybe get rid of one of them, with Hall to get an elite wide receiver. Dell's playing out of his mind. Dell should have had 40 fantasy points last week. It was crazy. He only had.
I was watching that game too.
God, that was so frustrating. If he had 40 points, everybody would just be so much higher on him than they are right now. It would have been crazy. Ayuk, these are really underrated wide receivers, though. I like it. Underrated tight end. I think he continues to do well. Flowers is really good. I like this team. I think it's good. I think you could squeak into it, into the championship. But it's going to be, I'm not going to lie, I think there probably is a team or two that might be tougher, but that doesn't mean you won't beat them. Yeah. I've seen it happen.
You think I can do one move?
Yeah, if you could still trade.
Yeah, Friday.
So if you could still trade, I would look to move Hall and one of the quarterbacks to a QB needy team and try and get a wide receiver. Leave these three as your sole RBs and use Hall and the quarterback to go get that Cooper Kupp type of player, or Diggs. Diggs would be the easiest, even though he's a kind of a head case and there's concern. He still qualifies as a guy that could be top 5 at his position. Kupp is a little more risky. I'd almost want to just give up the quarterback alone and maybe the quarterback and something else, like on the bench, to get Kupp, because I don't know that Kupp commands Hall and Dak or Hall and Stroud. It almost feels like an overpay. But I mean, the bottom line is, what would your team look like if you used your bench players to upgrade your starting lineup? You might help somebody out almost a little more than they're helping you, but your team's going to be so good, who cares? So you have these 3 running backs, Gibbs, Pacheco, Achane, and you have one of these quarterbacks, and you get a Diggs in here. It's going to be amazing.
Because I was thinking about getting Lamb. He needs a QB, and possibly stacking Dak with him. I don't know if you think.
Yeah, I mean, you get Stroud. Yeah, you trade Stroud and Hall for Lamb. That's fantastic. Flowers and Stroud for Lamb. That's fantastic too. I hate seeing Stroud go, but you choose one of them, Dak or Stroud. Dak or Stroud, whichever way you go. I would let the market decide who you trade, because if you're not going to get enough for Dak for whatever reason, I don't think that'd be the case, then you keep Stroud or Dak. But if you're going to, get more out of, trading whatever. And I wouldn't necessarily, I know it'd be so tempting to say I only want Dak, but if you had to keep Stroud and trade Dak for CeeDee Lamb, I still do it. I know it would drive you nuts, but all right, got to go, Andres. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, boss.
All right. Ron Navy.
Smitty!
What's up, pal?
Do you realize what an awesome, the best community in the world we have on your show?
We do.
I just want to let everybody know the power of prayer that you guys have put out has been successful. We went and got the results today. You already know this, man. I told you earlier, but everybody else hasn't known. We went and she had the cancer in her lung, a big mass. The mass has shrunk from 5.5 millimeters to just over 2 millimeters with minimum activity, meaning cancer activity. One of her lymph nodes was active with cancer and is back to normal. The other one has minimum activity. And the cancer in her liver is no trace of any cancer in her liver right now.
It's amazing,
so the power
man.
of prayer, God, and everything is just, you guys rock. I appreciate it. We were both crying today at the results.
It's
you
amazing.
guys are awesome. And I wanted to say that first.
Amazing.
Or anything. We have the best community.
Amazing.
And Smitty, you're the one that turned us on
To the moon.
With the Bendazole and all that, the Joe Tippins thing. You turned us on to that. She's still doing that. And so, yeah, it's awesome.
To the moon.
Awesome news today.
To the moon.
I wanted to share that.
Yeah, everybody drop
Now, my
prayer
second
emojis.
thing
Yeah.
is that game last night. I didn't get a chance to listen last night. I was out. We had to get up early, but I'm sure you probably already covered it. But Kevin, the coach, right? He cost them that game. I mean, we all talk about preventive defenses that lose you games, going and prevent defense. That was a prevent offense. They had the momentum, and what do? They run it the first 2 times with all that time on the clock. And O'Connell, I mean, what were they thinking? You take the momentum that you just got from the touchdown with Hawkinson, you go with it. You put in the ball, running the ball against the top-ranked defense, running defense. He lost them the game. Everybody could be different, say, well, the defense let them go down and score. Well, no, they totally gave up on the offense, went too conservative, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a bad game anyway. I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm not sure anybody's too much worried about the wins and losses when they were in here last night. They were more worried about the fantasy football production and lack thereof. I mean, DJ Moore did well, but, like, Fields looked like garbage. Joshua Dobbs looked like garbage, and he shouldn't really have been that owned in that game. It's very disappointing, and it puts a damper on JJ's return. It puts a damper on Addison's value going forward, and it's like, no one knows what to make of this Minnesota offense now, and I don't blame anybody for.
I think they'll be okay, but they were due for a letdown here. I mean, they were due for one, but I mean, it was just bad coaching. Addison should have had at least 2 touchdowns last night, and I mean, yeah, Dobbs. If he would have thrown that more to the inside than the outside, Addison was wide open for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Then he had that. But
I don't see how.
Anyways,
I don't see how JJ's gonna produce even close to his normal numbers. Like it's gonna be Jamar Chase, like exact scenario. I don't know if anybody knows, but most of Chase's yardage came on tip passes that Chase went and grabbed the ball that was in the air. It wasn't even intended for him, or it was intended for him batted up in the air, and Chase just ended up grabbing both of those catches. But like, I just think Chase and JJ are going to just be flat. I don't think touchdowns are going to be a usual thing for him, and it's going to suck, and it's going to put a little bit of a damper more on Chase than JJ walking into next year. But what happens with Cousins and whether they bring him back, and that's JJ's desire, and you can bet your bottom dollar that JJ is going to push for that more than ever, getting a dose of having no Cousins for the next couple of weeks. If he comes in and Dobbs doesn't throw in the ball even remotely close to as much, which is almost surely going to happen, he's going to be Kirk Cousins' biggest fan and biggest advocate of being re-signed and brought back into Minnesota. But we'll see what happens, because it's a business, and they've been kind of wanting to move on from Cousins for a while. It's whether it's right or wrong, they continue to always shop and browse and potentially look to get out of a Cousins situation. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. And Cousins has some, has some ability to go do whatever he wants too. If the money's not right, but coming off injury, he's gonna be hard pressed to get a team, I think, to invest in him. So it might be like a situation where he ends up in Minnesota again, even though maybe he thought about maybe going elsewhere. But coming off of that injury, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Just one more thing. My Steelers, they got just as chance as anybody. I think Pickens actually starts coming this week against your Arizona Cardinals. I think he has a big game this coming week.
You have a chance for a
Deontay
wild card
Johnson,
spot, yeah.
He's crap. He is crap. He is crap. Did you see? I'm sure you saw that Warren's fumble, and Deontay just stood there like his head up.
Yeah.
Didn't even fucking care.
Deontay's an idiot. Yeah,
But
Deontay
he didn't even
doesn't.
care.
He has stone
He's
hands.
worthless.
He has stone eyes.
Catching 50% of his passes.
All right.
So anybody that's high on Deontay, just don't be, because he's junk.
Yeah.
He's just terrible.
All right.
Anyways, get on to your next call.
All right, later, Ron.
I
Appreciate
love
you.
guys.
Good news. Good news, man. Later.
Call later.
All right, hey, chat, hang tight, or phone line, hang tight real quick. I just got two real quick ones. Olave and Taysom Hill for St. Brown. I'm going to take St. Brown and run, especially with Olave potentially being out with a concussion this week. We'll find out. Whale, appreciate you. Stroud versus Denver or Tua versus Washington. I think you got to go Stroud no matter what in this situation. I like Tua, though. I think people running from Tua, it's understandable, but I think it's maybe misplaced. There's some risk involved, but there's also risk in dismantling teams when you have a guy that arguably could be a top 6 quarterback. I'm not 11-1 thanks to your. I'm now 11-1. I'm not 11-1. I'm now 11-1 thanks to your help and the rest of the community. Who are your top 10 week 16 and 17? Top 10 week 16 and 17 defenses. Adam, that's going to be a bigger conversation. I can't really plow through that this week. I'd need a lot of data in front of me that I don't have. And I'd just be like fumbling through it for like 10 minutes trying to. I can't really do that. But I will absolutely try and come up with a defensive like video or something for the playoffs. But kind of hard to do that right now. I'd have to pull up schedules, and there's no way to do that on a live show and spur of the moment. But I appreciate you, Adam, with your super chat. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Nice job with your team. And then, sorry, two quick super chats here, guys. Or Adam, that was one of them. Adam, this is the last one. TP, playoff bound. Is it worth putting a waiver for Moss and drop Keaton or Charbonnet? Already have Brees and Eckler. I would probably drop Charbonnet before I would drop Keaton because of the schedule and because Walker's coming back. Will you even use Charbonnet before Walker ends up coming back? Probably not. It's tough dropping him, but in that situation, it's the right move. Let's go to D Money. D Money, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty?
What's up?
Hey, I got a trade question. I was thinking about giving up. I got Derrick Henry and DK Metcalf. I got 2 offers. Either I could get Nico Collins and Pacheco, or Nico and Kyron Williams.
What's the trade offer?
Derrick Henry and DK for Kyron and Nico, or Pacheco and Nico. Either one of those running backs.
Have you made this offer?
Yes. So I just got to pick which one I want. Do I want Pacheco and Nico, or do I want Kyron and Nico?
I would take Kyron straight up. And the fact that you're even dancing around it is shocking. Kyron's a top 3 running back going forward. And I think asking for Collins is crazy because it almost puts too much value on this side to where it's blatantly obvious and they're going to walk away from the deal or say no. I would take Kyron alone, straight up, so quickly, and I'd be shocked if you get this done. If you get Collins and Kyron for DK Henry, I will be shocked. I will be absolutely shocked.
Okay.
I bet you he backs out. I bet you he backs out. You're going to call me up and say he backed out. He's a back out Bobby.
All right. But the reason I was hesitant because I know Henry's schedule was pretty easy from here on out. And I know Kyron, it really doesn't make a difference because they're using him like they did Gurley. But he got Cleveland coming up, and he's got the Baltimore Ravens coming up after that.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what Kyron's schedule is. If, like you said, if it's tough against the run, they'll throw to him. If it's tough against the pass, they'll run to him. If it's tough against both, they'll let him throw.
Yeah.
They'll let him kick.
I know he's explosive. You know, he's way more explosive than Henry. So.
All right, hey, go do that. But call me back once he rejects it and it doesn't go through, because I can smell this coming from a mile away. This ain't gonna work out. All right, later, bro.
I got you. I hit you back. All
right, later. I know that ain't going through. I know it. But Bud, you're live. What's up, Bud? What's up, good buddy? What's up, Bud?
Me?
You're live, buddy.
Me?
Are you Bud?
No, I'm Gavin.
Okay, well then why are you talking?
Well, I thought you were talking Bud like an overall like person.
Well, hold on. All right, I know, Gavin. I'm just joking with you. Bud, are you there? Is Bud there? Would Bud please stand up? I think Bud fell asleep. All right, Gavin, since you're so bold, floor is yours, good buddy.
Okay, so I just saw the JT news, and I have JT, Eckler, and Kyron and Pacheco, and I got offered JT straight up for DJ Moore.
JT for DJ. I take DJ Moore. Right now, you just don't know what you're dealing with. So you have Eckler, Kyron, and Pacheco. Yeah, you'll be fine at running back. Pacheco, Eckler, Kyron, and then DJ Moore at wide receiver. That's really good, bro.
And then I have Keenan and Adams. Who is DJ Moore going to start over Adams?
You can only start two because you're starting three receivers, two running backs. Or I'm sorry, three running backs, two wide receivers. Not necessarily.
Two running backs, two receivers.
I guess matchup could determine the Adams DJ Moore, but maybe you even turn DJ Moore and Adams into a Diggs. Do it live. Try for Tyreek Hill.
The guy doesn't. He won't give him up.
You don't know. You don't know until you ask, bro. But Diggs is someone I would value more than Adams and DJ Moore potentially in this kind of environment where it's like everybody's got a stacked team. It seems grandma-ish. No offense. You got a solid grandma-ish.
Yeah.
Like you're playing with some maybe magazine drafters, maybe a grandma or two. You know. Don't take offense to it. Everybody's got a grandma league. It's not a big deal. But, I mean, you got a really good squad, and I think you got a potential. Who's your quarterback? Hurts?
I have Mahomes and Dak.
Yeah. Mahomes, you're good, bro. Go get rid of some of that depth and get that big name wide receiver. All right, appreciate you, Gavin, right? Gavin.
Yeah.
Gavin to the moon.
Bye.
Later, Gavin. Bud, are you there? Good buddy? Now, there's somebody named Bud. Maybe you don't realize I named you Bud. I got three people on the line. Will, Allen, and so Will and Allen, please remain silent. There's one other person on the line. Yeah, I got you named as Bud. Who are you? Third person. I think it is Bud. I think Bud fell asleep. All right, let's go to Allen. I'm going to leave Bud there.
Hey, what's up, Smitty? Sorry about the mute button earlier.
No problem, Alan. I'm just joking. I mean, I really did want you to mute, but you didn't have to hang up and rush off. But
it was my bad.
Don't worry about it.
I wanted to get your opinion on Russell Wilson over Matthew Stafford or Stafford this week. I got buys on my quarterback, so I need to play someone. They're both available on the wire.
Well, here's what I'd say, and I'm not saying that I'm going to be 100% on this, or I'm not going to pick it right. I don't know. But Stafford having 4 touchdowns last week with no Cooper, Kupp, or Puka production. Like, Puka and Kupp had like a combined like 50-something yards or whatever it was, 60 yards. They were garbage. Kupp did nothing. Puka did nothing. And Stafford had 4 touchdowns. That bodes well for this offense being in a sort of like amazing state right now. And I'd probably
roll. But it was against Arizona, right? Arizona, though, right?
I know, but the production's really really solid. I don't know. I'm banking on Stafford. If he can do this without his wide receivers, even if the matchup's tougher, if he can get the receiving game going at all, I mean, I really think Stafford's the safer play. But I mean, trust your gut on it. I think. I think Cleveland is tough,
but Cleveland is tough, and the Houston game could be a shootout.
Cleveland,
Russell might have to throw.
Cleveland's tough, but what I will say about the Rams is they're a tough team to defend. And I think we saw it, even though the Niners were not on their game when the Rams had their way with the Niners defense. It was still a good defense that should have done better than it did. And the Rams are just impossible to defend. Like, it's Kyron, you got these 2 wide receivers that I still think one of them is going to be amazing, down the stretch. I think Puka bounces back. But like I said, I could get this wrong because maybe Russell Wilson, his matchup, he's just going to have a 3 TD game. Stafford has a 1 touchdown game and 2 interceptions, and I'm sitting here thinking about this answer I gave all day long. But I just think I would start a guy that's on fire like this going into, even if it's a tough matchup. That's me. I could be wrong. I know Cleveland's not an easy cakewalk, but I just, Chad, am I wrong? Would you rather go Stafford playing? Is he at home? They're at home against Cleveland.
I think he's at home, but it's not really home. But
yeah, they don't. Well, depends who they're playing.
Yeah.
When they play like the Niners, it's the Niners home. But
no, I appreciate the input.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson, I mean, he's got Houston, and that's in Houston, right? It's in Houston. So we go Russell Wilson in Houston, and Russell Wilson, I mean, he has a 3 TD game in the last 4 weeks, but it's 1. And
correct.
He had two easy matchups. The Buffalo Bills from a passing perspective, easy, and the Minnesota Vikings, and he only scored 3 touchdowns in that 2-game span. Not that that's awful, but you're talking about 1.5 TDs is what he's averaging in his last 2 easy matchups, and he's really only had over the last 7 weeks. He's only had 2 easy matchups. He's had the Jets, the Chiefs, the Packers, the Chiefs again, and then the bye week. And he was not the greatest in all those, except for he did have the 3 TD game against KC. But his 2 easiest matchups, he's only averaging 1.5 TDs. I just don't know that I don't think I could trust Russell Wilson.
I think that was great. Thanks, man. I really appreciate the input because you made me feel better about my because I was leaning towards Stafford.
Trust your gut.
But I just didn't see Russell in your. I didn't see Russell in the waiver wire show, so I was just curious. Maybe his ownership's higher than needed for. That's why he wasn't there. So
all right, this is Will, right? Thanks, Will. Will, right?
Alan.
Oh, Alan. That was Alan. Okay, Alan. Thank you, Alan. Calling again later. Will from Alabama. You're live.
Yes, sir. I love the show, Smitty. I'm a 10-man PPR, and I'm past the trade deadline, and I just want you to tell me what you grade my team. Tell me, do you think I got a chance at the championship? I'm a 10-man PPR. I'm currently in the number 4 spot. I'm 7-5.
All right, hit me with it.
My quarterback is Hurts. Running backs, I got Henry, Mixon, Achane, Ford, and Singletary. And wide receivers, I got Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, Myers, Olivier, Thielen, and Mayers. And tight end, I just got Goddard and Ferguson.
Goddard, okay. All right, I like your team. I like Achane, and Henry's decent right now, and Hurts is obviously amazing. Mike Evans is playing lights out. Lavier, as you say, is great, but he's in concussion protocol, I believe, still. So, is there an update on Olave? Does anybody have an update on Olave? Let's see. Let me pull it up. Olave or Olavier. Everyone loves the way you say Olave, by the way. Concussion ruled out Sunday. That was 2 days ago. That was just a remainder of the game. There's no telling what's going to happen. He's in protocol, and the odds are against him playing, so that sucks. But in general, I like this team a lot as long as Goddard or Ferguson. Ferguson's pretty steady. It's a good team. You just need Achane and Henry to keep balling out. If they do, you're going to be set, man. You're going to be in good positioning. But do I imagine you're the number one team in your league? I'd probably say no. I'd say there probably are 1, 2, 3 teams that are probably a little bit better. But that doesn't mean I see this team capable of beating every one of those teams on any given Sunday. And I've seen lesser teams than this walk into a championship and win. So I think you just take it baby steps one at a time and just make the right starts. Don't get cute and just try and knock your opponent off 1 week at a time.
Yeah, that's the goal. I'm 7-5 and I'm at number 4. I beat all of the top hitters, but I had some lucky stuff went around my way, and now I'm getting around. There's 2 games left, and like I said, out of the 10, only 6 make it to the playoffs. I'm in the number 4 spot, and
you got it, bro.
I plan to really.
You got this, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, hey, Will, call back if you got anything else. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, thank you, bro.
Yep. All right, Mark, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty? So I offered Chase, Kincaid, and D-Hop for Tank Dell and Hawkinson, and he countered with I add Achane instead of D-Hop. My other RBs are Kamara, Gibbs, and Swift.
Say the
what do you think? A smash or stand down?
Say the trade one more time.
So he countered with Achane, me giving him Achane, Chase, Kincaid for Tank Dell and Hawkinson.
I mean, Achane, Chase, and Kincaid?
Yeah.
For Hawkinson and who?
Tank Dell.
No. That's not a good trade.
He also has Pollard and ETN and Monty.
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way, bro. Taking Achane out, this is a debatable trade. Meaning that I don't know what side's better. It's debatable. And he's trying to throw in a top 5 running back.
Gotcha.
You are offer sex. You are trade offer sex.
What did you just say? Even though you have what?
Kamara, Swift, and Gibbs to be.
Even though what? You mean, should you make the trade just because you have those players?
Yeah.
No.
To
that's like saying, should I buy this house for $500,000 when it's going for $400,000 because I got money in the bank?
Gotcha.
This right here is a debatable trade. You cannot throw Achane into it. If you wanted to do this, I could get behind it for sure. I think Dell over Chase is kind of arguable. And then Hawkinson and Kincaid, I think this should get it done. Like, if you throw something else in minute, I would say I would do it, but there's no way in hell I'm giving Achane. Of course he asked for Achane.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, Mark.
All right. I appreciate you, bro.
Later.
Thank you.
Let's go over to Krillo, and then we'll go to Travis Rhoda and end all the phone calls. Krillo, what's up?
What up, Smitty? You feeling better?
I'm all right, man. I'm pretty broken today. I got my back pain still there. I'm still kind of getting over the stomach situation, but it is what it is, bro.
Man, I feel bad for your toilet right now, bro.
No, it's good, bro.
Nah, I'm messing with you, but
what can I do for you, bro?
It's a quick 2-part question, but for part 1 is does Tank Dell get Surtain this week, and should we be worried about that?
I think Dell and Nico are. I mean, it's tough to say who's going to get the focal point of the defense, but I mean, I imagine it's hard to know. Like, even if somebody believes they have that information, we don't really know the game plan. Only speculative. But I think these two, the way this offense is humming right now, I think you'll have probably him on. Surtain will probably be on both wide receivers different times. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I don't sit Dell because of that. I think Dell's still capable of lining up on the slot and cutting across the field and catching a pass where no one's even around him when he takes it 80 yards to the end zone. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. It's definitely not the best matchup if he is, but it is what it is. I'm still starting him. I don't think anybody should be sitting Tank Dell.
All right, and then the other part is so I can flex either Waddle or Derrick Henry. Who do you think is? I mean, I feel like Waddle is the ceiling play, but would that make Henry like the safer play, or not really? Because Henry's gotten like 2-3 points from games, and Waddle's floor is not nearly that low. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, Henry's definitely got the capability of getting you 4 points, especially off a big game. Everyone's expectations are high, but it seems like he's being utilized properly right now, and I'd say that Henry does feel safer. Waddle is just that kind of player, and he's always kind of getting hurt. And so if I had to pick one, I'd probably say give me – I don't know. That one's a tough one. Chat.
Tough, right? Because the thing is that Washington's secondary is so trash, but if Miami's blowing out Washington, first half, does Waddle even fucking get looked by then?
I don't know. Chat, vote Henry or Waddle in the chat. All right, bro. Let's let the chat decide. Later, pal. Henry Waddle, vote in the chat, please. Henry Waddle. Travis, you're the final caller. What can I do for you, pal?
Hey, Smitty. Would you start Love or Kyler this week?
Love does have a tough matchup.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of steering me a little towards Kyler, but Love has been really good, so I wasn't quite sure.
But I mean, Pittsburgh isn't that easy either. They're definitely not like the best defense in the league. I believe they're indicating color is orange across most metrics, versus red. But I would say that it's definitely, a problem enough to say, why don't you just go with the player you believe is going to be the best? I'd probably say Love's got more upside to get 2 or 3 TDs. Kyler's got more upside to not shart the bed. So I wish there was an easy answer.
I have Howell too, but I don't know. Miami's been playing pretty good, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's let the chat vote on that one. Kyler against the Steelers, or are we going with Love in this one? Guys, vote if you could.
And the one other thing I was going to ask was just what you're feeling on Eckler. Is he just kind of, you can take a chance on him, hope he's better, but don't give up a ton for him right now?
Yeah, I probably feel somewhere in between of that. I'd say I definitely like taking a gamble on Eckler, but I certainly don't feel like I feel ultra confident that we're going to see him. This is kind of as much as I loved the idea of buying Eckler on the cheap, after somebody had already invested the world in him, as much as I loved buying Cooper Kupp on the cheap, even though we said on this channel over and over and over, avoid Eckler, avoid Kupp on draft day for a reason. They're older players break down, older players get hurt, and pretty much all the preseason predictions on Eckler and Kupp have come true. But I do admit they do feel like appealing buy low players even to this day, but there's risk involved. So I would buy Eckler if the price is right, but there's certainly risk that, he looks injured right now. He looks not 100%, but if you take a look at the top 10 RBs, there's a lot of risk up and down. You got CMC, right, Kyron, And then you start looking at Bijans and Gibbs and guys like that have question marks, in terms of volume or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Eckler falls in line with all that. So it is what it is. But I definitely go after Kupp and
Right.
Eckler at the right price.
And the very last thing was, would you put Pacheco above Walker and Charbonnet right now?
Yeah, of course.
He's got a decent schedule too.
Of course,
so he's been
easy.
playing well.
Not even close. Charbonnet and Pacheco
All right,
they aren't worth much right now. They just their schedule is too brutal to be in this volatile of a situation that they're both trying to fight for carries in a bad offense, bad schedule.
So would I be crazy to give up like the Walker Charbonnet combo with Diggs if I was getting back like Pacheco and Rashee Rice or Pollard and Rashee Rice? Am I giving up too much there, you think?
Diggs?
Yeah.
Walker, Charbonnet, and Diggs to get back
Diggs.
what?
Like Pacheco, and he doesn't have any receivers, so Pacheco and
I mean, I'd rather
Rashee Rice
have Diggs
is the
over
best receiver.
Pacheco, so no.
Okay.
Yeah. I like
All right,
Pacheco
I'm
a lot.
just looking at all
but-
my options because I get
Yeah.
the bye week crunching down on me.
I like
so.
Pacheco a lot. I do, but I think Diggs still has more value than that.
Well, all right. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate
All right,
it.
Travis, appreciate you, bro. Okay, real quickly, I said we'd do this, and then I gotta bail out of here. But hey, I said we'd do it. Let's do it live. We're gonna draft on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Hit it now. Do it live. Hit it now. Do it live. And let's see if I can get this to respond. Hold on one second. Hopefully, I'm able to do this. I've been having some hit and miss. Come on. There it is. We got it. We're doing it live. All right. So we're going to go into Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Here's the link. I'm going to drop it in the live chat right now. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Hit that link and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100 on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Up to $100. That means you drop the minimum of $10. That is all you got to drop is $10. You drop that minimum, they'll give you $10, so you'll have 20 to mess around with. If you drop 100, they'll give you 100. You drop 50, they'll give you 50. Underdog Fantasy will match up to $100 on your first deposit. Let me pin this live chat here. Pin. There we go. Hoosiers with the 1 month membership. Appreciate you, Smitty. Thanks for the advice. You bet, Hoosiers. Appreciate you. Hoosiers, thank you very much. All right, go to draft, which is at the bottom. You'll hit the draft tab. Wild card. The wild card's fun, but we're going to go ahead and go over to the week 13 Battle Royale week 13. Click the green button right now. And I'm going to wait a couple seconds to make sure we time it up right. And we're going to jump into a draft real quickly. Week 13. Hit that link in the live chat. Hit the link in the live chat. The link is pinned. The link is in the description of every video. So if you're watching a replay, just click that link that says Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Here we go. 3 more to start. If you want in, just click that link. 1 more to start. If you miss out on getting in this specific draft with me, you can get in to one right alongside and use the same theory and approach. But this is a week 13 contest. Again, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Link in description, link pinned. Let's do it live. Your boy drafting from the 1.1. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and take, I think, Tyreek Hill with this pick right here. I'll cue him up right now. Christian McCaffrey's got that Eagle matchup. Of course, I love St. Brown at New Orleans. Jalen Hurts versus San Francisco is a tough one. I think I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. Taysom or Goddard rest of season? Probably Goddard if he's back healthy, but we need to see signs of that right now. Taysom. All right, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Draft with me. Hit the link. Do it live. Do it live. 7 seconds this draft begins. Your boy's going Tyreek Hill at the 1.1. This is for week 13 only. Main slate games only. Tyreek Hill is my pick. Going to board view. There we are. McCaffrey goes to TD Strikers Ron Navy. MVP, draft him from the 3 hole. Mayor's in the 4. Who's going to go in the 3 spot here? Amon-Ra St. Brown going in the Trey spot. Hurts in the 4. Keenan Allen in the 5. The back-to-back picks. A.J. Brown, nice work. Jalen Waddle. Lava Lord takes Mike Evans. Mayer on the clock has Jalen Hurts. Who's he pairing up? Again, main slate games, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Link is in the live chat, pinned in the live chat. I'll even drop it one more time just so it's freshly pasted for you. There it is, and it's in the description of every video. So do it live. Don't know how you're 6-6, says David, talking about somebody's team here. Smitty looks like long term you were right about Tank and Love. Wow, says Rob. Were you doubting it, Rob? Tank Dell to the moon, baby. Funny thing is, like, Dell was not that hard to see coming. It's just, you know, I mean, if you watched his film, he had the stats. Everybody just doubted him because he was small. Kyron Williams, that's a nice pick. It's a really nice pick. I would have liked to have had Kyron Williams right there. Kyron Williams is phenomenal. CJ Stroud going to Mr. Ron Navy. I am going to roll. Jeez. I'll go Eckler and Tua right here. So I've got Tyreek, Eckler, Tua. Hoping Eckler has a big game. Tank Dell, nice pick. Stroud Dell. I knew Ron might be looking for a little Dell Stroud stackage. Amon-Ra, Kyron, and who, Will? Thoughts on streaming Brandon Cooks? I don't mind Cooks. He's been pretty consistent. I don't mind that at all. I was doubting Love. I liked Tank. I mean, Love still got a ways to go, but he's starting to feel in his rhythm. You know, it's frustrating to watch him struggle so badly. I did feel like he had a lot of upside. And he started off phenomenal. He's a top 5 quarterback for like the first 2-3 weeks. Devonta Smith was a fantastic pick. Devonta Smith, it's a tough matchup, but, you know, it is what it is. Rashad White, nice pick. Deebo Samuel. I like all these teams. They're all pretty even. Zach Moss, there we go. I was wondering when Zach Moss was going to go. Jahmyr Gibbs. Damn you, Ron Navy. Damn you, Ron Navy. Let's go. That's right. I'm going to go Bijan. And Cooper Kupp. It was a tough call for me between Bijan and Achane. The reason I didn't go Achane is because I do believe Bijan's going to be great. And because we are still waiting word on Achane, I didn't want to necessarily go that route with this team. But I certainly will do a couple drafts for sure with Achane on him. 100%. Especially when I have Tyreek and Tua together. The stack doesn't necessarily need to happen. Like, you don't need to stack. A lot of people still bring the best ball stacking mentality to the table here, and you don't really necessarily need to. All right, we're going to do one more, so everybody jump in once I say go. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. What time is it, by the way? Oh, it's 8:14. I better start this one, but I might not. I might continue it as I offline here. So I'm on the clock. I need a tight end. Dalton Schultz is there. I like that. That's good. Do it live. Your boy got projected with the very high 84.6. No one else is even in the 80s. Look at that. No one else is even in the 80s. Not always right, but hey, Ron Navy with the number 2 ranked team with 75.1. I like this squad. I'm screenshotting that, putting that on Instagram. Okay, let's do one more. Back out. Battle Royale Week 13. Click the green button now. It makes me unplug because it needs to find my location and plugged into my computer. It seems to get confused. So let's not confuse it. Okay, I got a little bit of a delay, so I hit the button now. Hopefully we're all timed up and synced. Underdog Fantasy, the link is pinned in the live chat. Code Smitty will get it done as well. Code Smitty, do it live. Do it live. I'm drafting from the 3-hole this time. Looks like we got Marker in here. Opus. Lava Lord's in here again. It looks like we got a couple of super chats here. Let me answer these. This one's from Jedi. Jedi, appreciate you. Hey, Smitty, can you rank these wide receivers in Dynasty? Chase, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Ridley, Rice, Pickens. This is a tough one. I'd say, so running backs, I'd go Achane, Taylor, Swift. Ironically, Taylor Swift. Achane, Taylor Swift, and Javonte, unfortunately for Javonte. As far as the wide receivers go, probably Jamar Chase or Amon-Ra, Jamar Chase. Past that, it gets a little dicey, man. I mean, we're really kind of waiting. Is it Garrett Wilson, or is it Devonta Smith, or is it Dell? I think all three, there's arguments to be made. So, I don't know. That's a tough one. It really is tough at that point to determine which wide receiver to rank. Part of me would say, I'd probably say Devonta Smith, because I trust the offense long-term a little more than Dell and Garrett Wilson are pretty much a toss-up. I love Dell that much. Dell's that good in Dynasty, bro. Who knows how good he's going to be. Trade JT and Breece for Achane and Gibbs. Let me put it this way. I'd trade Breece and JT for just Achane. I'd trade JT and Breece for just Gibbs. If you get both of them, you're an absolute trade wizard. Wizard of the day. All right, on the clock again here. Let's go with Again, I'm going to go, I think, with Eckler here. Don't want to force it, but Amon-Ra Eckler feels pretty solid. Aurora, thank you for the $5 hauler. Got offered Mostert and Metcalf or Hopkins for JJ and Kirk. 5 and 7 need to win next two. Need to win next two for playoffs. Jefferson on the bye, and then I'd probably say Mostert, Metcalf, or Hopkins. I'd probably take Mostert and Metcalf. I don't think that's horrible. It's not my favorite deal. Like, part of me wants you to go do something a little more solid, but I mean, at the end of the day, Mostert could easily be worth that. It's just tough to know. I'd probably take it, I guess, at the end of the day. Devonta Smith, man. Kamara ain't bad here. Eckler. Amon-Ra, Devonta Smith, Eckler. $260 of you in here. Punch that thumb up button. Only 129 of you hitting the thumbs up. We can do better than that. Those are rookie numbers. Let's pump those numbers up. All right, here we go. Almost on the clock. Oh, I gotta go Kyron here. See, sometimes I hate drafting early RB because then it eliminates like later RBs you want to get that are of value. Because now the max RBs you can draft are 2 in this format. So then it grays out. If you can look at my running backs, it grays out my wide receivers and running backs at this point because I got my team so far, which I like. Eckler, Kyron, Amon-Ra, and Devonta Smith, which is a phenomenal quad that I've got going on there. Let's see. So the teams drafting right now in front of me both have quarterbacks, so I'm guaranteed Herbert here. So we're going to go Herbert as soon as I'm able to draft.
Motion detected at the backyard.
All right, and the last super chat here of the night is, would you trade away Tank for JSN in a future first? No. Probably mid to late, no. If it was the number 1 overall, maybe we're talking. I like JSN, but Tank blows him out of the water right now. I'm going to go Herbert here. I don't want this guy that's drafting after me who doesn't have a quarterback or the team in the 6th spot to draft Herbert. So my team so far is Herbert, Eckler, Kyron, Amon-Ra, Devonta Smith. Feels really good. But yeah, I mean, Tank Dell what JSN's a middle round pick, so like 2 JSNs where you don't really know what their value is. I like JSN a lot, but Tank's playing out of his mind. No way I'm doing that trade. But it's a good question. Thoughts on the future for JSN, Tristan? I'd probably say I don't know. I like him a lot. I think, we're talking like Michael Pittman value until we are able to see him get fully unleashed, and he needs a better quarterback, and there's a lot to go on. There's a lot that needs to be said. Tank is way more valuable than that. He is. Tank's going to go in the 3rd or 4th round as of right now. Had Tank had the 40 points that he was going to have, let's go Dalton here. Had Tank had the 40 points he was scheduled to have in that game in week 12, because he only had 50 and a touch, but he should have 3 touchdowns and probably another 150, probably 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tank Dell would have had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns if 2 plays, one of which converted, was called back, and the other was barely a misconnection between Stroud and Dell. He would have had 3 touchdowns and almost 200 yards. We would be talking about Tank Dell like he was a 2nd rounder. And now he's not. He's a 3rd or 4th, but I definitely... Look at your boy ranking first yet again. 80.1 projected points. My team, Herbert, Eckler, Kyren, Amon-Ra, Devonta Smith, and Dalton Schultz. The next highest ranked team is 76 points right here. Tua, Achane, Tyreek. I like it. I like the triple Dolphin. I'm gonna create a couple teams like that because I wanted to draft Achane a couple of times, but I kept getting different RBs, and then I'd run out of RB spots. But one strategy I'm going to have this week is similar to the one I just drafted, and the other one's going to be around the three players and Mostert if you can pull it off. I think you might be able to. So this is a nice strategy, but I also love this one. I love the 3 Miami Dolphins strategy. 4 preferably. Opus, nice team. Bijan, Tank Dell, Sutton, I like it. Lava, Gibbs, White, I like it. Nice team. Nice team. Nice team. I'm out of here. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining me for yet another draft edition, another news edition, another fantasy football 8 p.m. show edition. I will see you all later. Appreciate you. Thank you to all my super chatters, every single one of you, especially those $20 hauler droppers like Matt. Matt dropped a 20 watt on screen. Thank you, Tristan, Aurora, Para, I forget how you say your name. Jedi, J, TP, Adam A, Photo, appreciate you, Photo, JB Photo, Whale, thank you, Whale, Rob Mac, Ernest, appreciate you, Russian Collusion, Chase, appreciate you, Jaime, appreciate you, Chase, appreciate you, Chase, Hoosiers, Thomas, TM42, Photo, with another one, Parker, Payne, appreciate you, James Foster, appreciate you, Cam, Bottoms, appreciate you, bro, Ran, appreciate you, Ran, Matt, again, thank you for the 20, Sols, thank you, pal, I'm Tay, appreciate you, Demetrios, thank you, Pix, appreciate you, Pix. Did I answer this one? Will you trade Tyreek Hill for Oh, yeah, I did. Thank you, Pix. Appreciate you. Alex, appreciate you. TM42 and Mac with the first super chat of the night. I'll see you all 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Rain or shine. Deuces.